Hello, everyone. My name is Michal, and I work as a product manager at Socialbakers. And today I will talk about how to crack the next product management interview. So I hope that after this presentation, when you are on your next PM interview, that you will completely kill it. I will first start talking about what qualities should every PM have, and then you will be looking into demonstrating these qualities in the interview. Then we'll jump through the interview questions that are typical for the product management interviews. Then I will tell you how to prepare for the case study that you will typically get assigned, that you will get like assignment, typically for the last stage of your recruitment process. And then we'll go through some do's and don'ts. So let's have a look at these qualities that every PM should have. So I'm stating these here so that you know what is important to demonstrate. These are important to demonstrate during the interview process. So first of all, strategic thinking. You need to think big and long term. You need to have a vision for your product. You need to understand your market and the market direction. Second, communication and leadership. So once you have the vision, you need to communicate this vision to the engineers and to the designers. You need to clarify everything, and you have to structure your thoughts. You need to communicate in a very clear way, so everyone is on the same page. Then you need to prioritize. You will always have limited resources, and you will need to balance whether you will build projects or products for closing the new businesses, whether you will expand your portfolio, or whether you will focus on retention of the current clients and you will close the gaps, you will do like fixes. So, and it's important for you to prioritize well. Execution. None of the above matters if you don't actually execute. You need to grind it out. You need to actually write the product spec. You need to organize those customer interviews. You have to create or upgrade a new process. You need to prepare the roadmap. So there are many things that need to be done, and you just need to execute to successfully launch products. Technical understanding. You need to be able roughly estimate the technical complexity of a product or a feature without input from engineering. So you don't need to be able to program, but when you are planning roadmaps for 6 months or for 1 year or even longer, you need to have like this basic understanding. And forecasting and measuring. Forecasting meaning you need to have some estimation, like how much this project or product or feature will impact our customers. And measuring, you need to measure the success, measure the usage, and you need to be able to learn from this data and from these findings. So these are the skills or qualities you want to demonstrate. And now let's jump into the now I'll tell you which are more specific for the new PMs and which are more specific for the experienced PMs. So they are like slightly different expectations. So for new PM, if you haven't done the PM job already, it's great that if you come from the relevant background, like if you focused on history or literature, it's not really that much helpful. But if you come from engineering, design, consulting, or marketing or business, that's great. Then you are achiever with interest in product. What this means? That in your current role, doesn't have to be product role, it can be engineering or design, you are killing it. You are proactive. Because of you, for example, if you're an engineer, your company started using a new technology. You are exploring a new tech stack. If you are a designer, because of you started a new user testing, and you started creating user personas like very detailed. So basically, you are killing it in your current role. If you demonstrate this, that's really great. And what also helps is to demonstrate that you have a lot of energy and eagerness to learn. On the other hand, for experienced PMs, we are definitely looking at track record of already delivered products as a PM. So you must have like some products that you already shipped as a product manager. Then experience from similar work environment is very helpful. For example, Socialbakers, let's say, is a global company with 700 employees. We sell enterprise product to businesses. It's a software as a service. And when we are hiring a PM that is skilled, he delivered projects or products, but he worked in a startup of 15 people, and they were delivering B2C mobile app for cyclists. It's completely different environment, and interviewers will definitely take this into consideration, that they will see, okay, this person didn't have experience talking to enterprise customers, or they don't have 300 salespeople in their company. So this is something that will definitely take into consideration. And third, independence. Experienced PMs are expected to be thrown into the water, and they are expected to just be given a high-level goal or a high-level vision, and without any hand-holding, they should be able to figure out everything. So these are the abilities that we want to demonstrate during the interview process. And now let's have a look at the questions. And let's start with the first one that always pops up. That is, tell me about yourself. So with this question, before you go to the interview, interviewers, they don't know much about you. They barely know anything about you. And with this question, they are trying to build a picture about you, like how this person works, like what products they have built, like what is their working style, do they have enough experience, do they have the right skills, will they fit in our company? They need to build this picture in their head about you so that they can answer these questions. So here's my suggestion, how you should outline your answer. So first, very briefly for your background, you would say something like, hey, I studied computer science at Masaryk University. Then I worked 2 years as a full-time software engineer, mostly front end. You can describe the tech stack. And then I wanted to have a bigger impact. I wanted to influence the product. So I wanted to move, after these 2 years in technical role, I wanted to move into the product role. And that's my current job. And so now you demonstrated like what background you have, because that's important to establish whether you come from business, marketing, or tech. And now you want to describe your current role or the most relevant role for the position you're applying. And you're gonna describe it in following ways. So first, start with the company, like what the company does, what's the vision, what's the product. So I would say something like, I work at Socialbakers. We build unified marketing platform. It's a software as a service, and we sell it to mid-market and enterprise companies all over the world. And we have around 700 employees. After they have an idea about your company, now you tell them what project or what products you've worked on. So I would say something like, I'm working on Publisher, which is a tool where marketers come and they prepare, create, and schedule a social media post in the content calendar. And then I'm also working on Community, which is a tool where community managers from the marketing department, they respond to comments and they respond to direct message conversations on the social media. So now they have idea about the company, how big it is, what products you're working on. And now you're going to describe how you work, how you gather feedback, how you do market research, how you prioritize, how you work with engineers. Do you use Scrum, or do you use Waterfall, or do you use Kanban? How often do you have releases? Do you have releases every 2 weeks, or do you have one release every 6 months? How do you measure success? And are you involved in any process, like improving process in the company? And once going through this structure, the interviewer will have quite good picture about like what you do and how you do it. And now they can start asking questions about the things that were interesting for them. So this overall, here you should spend like 5 to 8 minutes. Now let's move on to the other question, which is, tell me about a product feature that you delivered. So here, basically, you pick a feature or product that you are working on or project, and you describe it. Here, the interviewer continues building the picture about yourself. They want to go deeper, to understand deeper how you work, how you interact with engineers, how you interact with designers, how you interact with customers and sales, and whether you interact with customers and sales. Because, for example, they know that in Socialbakers, as product manager, you will be interacting with these people, and they need to know if in your past job you are doing this or not. It's important to get all this context. What methodologies did you use? Did you work like systematically, or you were pulling stuff out of thin air? All super important questions, and this can be answered by you providing them example of project that you've worked on. So how you should structure this? First, you start with what was the goal of the project. So I would say something like, goal of this project was to provide insights to the marketers for them to see whether the conversations under their campaigns are more positive or negative. So it was sentiment analysis, how these conversations are evolving. And we wanted to let them know which topics drive positive conversations and which topic drive negative conversation so that they can improve in the future. This will give like the basis for the project. And now I'll describe from the start, from the research until the launch and measuring the success, how we proceeded with the feature. So how did I do market research? Did I have a look at the competitors? Did I research on some reviews on G2 Crowd? Did we perform customer interviews? How did we design the feature? And then in this big product or feature, we were somehow slicing it and prioritizing, deciding what is important and what is less important. Then we are launching it. Did we have a beta program or did we launch to all customers at once? And then how we measured success. And of course, it's always great to mention challenges that you came across. That's always very helpful. So yeah, this is how you should structure the answer, I would say. And this question gets asked, I would say, in different forms. Could be something like, tell me about a time you had to make a hard decision. But it's pretty much a similar question with a small twist. What I would suggest, and this question is extremely important, write down a list of all your projects you worked on. Select those that were significant and relevant and challenging, and prepare a pitch like this. Prepare the structure, practice, and just prepare how you're gonna go over this project and describing it, because then your delivery will be much smoother. It will be much smoother than making it up on spot. So this question is super important and gives a lot of context to the interviewer. Perfect. Two most important questions are behind us. Let's go to the next one. So another one: organize a birthday party for my daughter. So this is a question where you ask to design something, design a product or design a service, and typical answer could be like, yeah, organize party for my daughter, and like someone could say, yeah, so I organize a party. I guess that's fine, or that's easy. I'll just do it. But no, that's not how you respond. What should you rather do? You should ask clarifying question, and you should go into the detail. So what you ask: how old is your daughter? So the users of this service or of this feature. How old is your daughter? What does she like? Does she do any sports? Does she like sweets? How many friends she wants to bring to this birthday party? What is our budget? And once you have this clarified, then you just like formulate it again and make sure, confirm with the interviewer. So we'll say something like, okay, your daughter is 5 years. Our user, your daughter is 5 years old. She does gymnastics. She wants to invite. It would make sense to invite around 8 to 10 friends, and they don't like sweets. And you don't live in a house. You live in a flat, and our budget is 5,000 Czech crowns. And this, once you confirm this, then you've narrowed down your possibilities, because you have like some persona, use cases, requirements, and now you can suggest possible solutions. So it's important to clarify, and go into detail. That's I would say to answer this question. Next one: how do you measure or define the success? So with this question, like, don't be afraid. The interviewer is definitely not trying to catch you on something like, yeah, like we don't use OKRs, like objectives and key results. And if you don't have a exact threshold, like for this metric, then the feature is success. If it's below the metric, then it's failure. And if you are not doing this, you are not measuring, you are not defining success. No, it's like defining success for a feature. It's pretty difficult. It's not that easy to do. You can definitely start, and that's what you should do. Describe what metrics you measure on your product. For example, weekly active users, user retention, how much users are retaining, how many messages they've sent, for example, that would be relevant to community product, how many comments they respond to, or percentage of the accounts that are using this particular feature. And once you describe these metrics that you are measuring, the interviewer see, oh, you are actually measuring stuff, you care about these metrics. Then you should explain which metrics is relevant or important for this particular project. And once you do that, then you can also explain if it makes sense or doesn't make sense, or what should be a success goal for your feature and why. So for example, if we have a feature that allows social media managers to schedule posts, but also the feature is about targeting those posts organically to the countries, targeting to the specific countries, we may want to say, oh yes, I want to this feature to be used by all clients. But in this context, in this particular feature, it doesn't make sense, because this feature would be only used by clients that have presence on social media in all countries or in multiple countries. So those clients that are present in Czech Republic, they would not need to use this feature. So if I want to set up a goal, I need to take all this context into consideration. So if you go this much into detail, you start with the metrics, you select like, okay, why this metric is important for this feature, and then you try to figure out like how you should approximate the goal. That's already giving the interviewer great signals that you know how to think about this. Another question: you have one engineering team, but 8 features you can develop. How do you prioritize them? So this is a question where interviewer tries to see how you can prioritize, whether you can figure out details yourself, and how you approach the problem. So first of all, you ask, well, what are those features, and how big impact will each of those features have on our customers, and will it impact or will it be used by all customers or just certain segments? For example, I know that if we implement integration with WeChat, it will be only used by the clients that are focusing on China, because WeChat is just in China. So also taking this into consideration. Will this help to retain current customers, or will it help to close new deals, new business? And how much it will cost to develop this feature? And last but not least, does this feature match with the vision of our company? And the interviewer might give you some of these answers to some of these questions. And based on this, you can already go feature by feature and say, okay, this feature should be this high on the list because it has big impact and it will be used by most of the customers, and it also matches the vision. And like this, you can go feature by feature, and you can also try to use some framework like RISE or Moscow. So with this, you will demonstrate how you can prioritize. Another one: how many dentists are there in Prague? Probably nobody would know this answer to this right from top of their head. This is typical estimation question, but important thing here is to that you know how to break the problem down, how to break it down, and where you can estimate some things that can help you calculate the actual answer to that problem. So with this particular one, for example, what we know how many people live in Prague, and what would also be very helpful is that how many people belong to one dentist, and then we can calculate it. We don't know how many people belong to one dentist, but we can, for example, figure out like how often people go to the dentist and how many people one dentist can serve in one day, and then you have the answer. So the important is how you come, what's your thought process. Okay, and also interesting question: why are you leaving your current job? So here the interviewer is looking for the red flags. Mostly, I would say it's more like a shit test, let's say. Ideal answer should be mostly in the positive manner, like you want to step up your game. You want to have more impact by moving to the product management role. You want to work on the product that is used by many users. You want to work on complex challenges. You want to learn from the best. And you should not rather mention that many negatives, or you should at least tone them down if you have to mention some negatives. But what you should not say is something like, yeah, I don't like my engineering job. I want to do this PM job, or I want to I don't like the product I'm currently working on, or management in my company is bad. So in general, try to frame it as a step up. You want to step up your game, and not really you should not really complain. That's not really helping. Okay, so that's my take on the interview questions. So here are some great sources for the product management interview questions. So they are like super helpful. But the takeaway, definitely prepare for these two. Tell me about yourself and tell me about the product feature that you delivered. These two are super important. Okay, and let's now move quickly to the case study. So at the last stage of your interview process, you will most likely receive assignment. And this can be something like you will have to do market research, product discovery. You'll have to write specification or prepare a roadmap. So they'll try to see how you work, what's your working style, what are your prioritization skills, and then also we will be presenting this case study. So also how you present, what are your presentation skills and communication skills. Because I don't know what the case study will get, I have just one super important advice: just spend a lot of time with this. When we are interviewing candidates, we have very senior candidate who spent 1.5 hour on the case study, and it was not really good. It was, I would say, because of that we didn't hire him. And then we had quite a junior candidate who was working on the assignment for the entire week, a couple of hours each day, and she completely killed it. It was just amazing. And even from my own experience, when I was interviewing to other PM jobs, I was also working on the case study, and I would say in 2 or 3 hours, I was not able to produce anything that I would consider a great job. So just for case studies, please just invest the time. And now just quickly for some do's and don'ts. So the most important, prepare examples of the past projects. I would say prepare at least 2, ideally 3 past projects, and as we did with the outline, just prepare the pitch. It's really much more difficult if you have to formulate this on the spot. Then provide detailed answers. If the interviewer asks you, so in your current job, do you write user stories? Your answer shouldn't be just like yes or no. You should definitely provide more detail, because they are trying to build this overall picture, and just saying yes or no will not help them with this. Be proud of your experience, of what you did. Don't dismiss importance of your work. We had this candidate for PM. He was really great. He was like more on the junior side, working in Oracle on the internal product. It was used by 3,000 people within Oracle, engineers and customer support. And he wanted to transition into another PM role where he would be doing like working on customer facing product. What he did wrong in the interview, he said, yeah, I never really did a proper PM job. Like he was not proud of this. Like he could have said, I am working on a product that is used by 3,000 people, is really saving their time when they are performing their daily tasks. And now I want to step in my game and I want to work on the customer facing product. So you should not dismiss importance of your work experience in front of the interviewers. And then demonstrate enthusiasm to improve process in the current job. So proactivity is always welcome. And on the other hand, just don't complain about the current job. Then that never helps. And especially because interviewers will think, okay, so this guy will then do the same thing about us. Then once we hire him, he will be complaining about our company. So that's why you should not do this. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I've covered everything, so I hope you completely nail it on your next PM interview. Thank you very much.